Versatile Mage. Chapter 508. Possess, Demon King. Part 2. What are you waiting for? Kill her. Ling yelled at Mo Fan. Ling was a genius lowly with remarkable senses. She knew how terrifying the demoness' ability to control one's mind and place curses was, so she did not hold on to the net like when she was capturing the vampire before. She immediately fled into the distance after stopping the demoness from escaping. Her little figure was running fairly quickly with the help of some special equipment. The vicious demoness was just about to take her revenge when she realized that the little girl had completely vanished from her sight. It was impossible for her to look for the little lowly who had completely ruined her infamous reputation, as flames were rolling toward her like a tsunami. Mo Fan was unable to float in the air like the fiery sorceress, but he was able to move with a wave of flames. Standing on top of the wave of flames, the Demon King Mo Fan was engulfed in fierce flames. Either Mo Fan's fury or the fiery sorceress' hatred had now transformed into a fiery battle axe rolling into the sky. The astonishing fire almost slashed the sky in half. As the fiery battle axe swung down, the air was set aflame. No one will die, except you, evil prick. Mo Fan snapped furiously as his emotions merged with the fiery sorceress into one. The fiery battle axe was like a death sentence falling down on the demoness, aiming to send the vicious sinner down to the 18th floor of hell. As the flames accumulated to the limit, its sharpness was similar to that of a real axe. The fiery axe landed on the demoness body under her piercing screech, splitting the ugly demoness in half at the waist. The demoness did not die straight away after she was hacked in half. The flames spread from her waist to her head and her legs, burying her in incredible pain from the burns. The demoness screamed wildly. She was afraid of fire the most. It was definitely the cruelest way for her to die. However, despite her screams, no one showed her any compassion. The suffering she was enduring was nothing compared to the pain that Jiang Feng and Chen Yi, the mother and daughter, had gone through. Normally, the little loach pendant would absorb the deceased spirits nearby and refine them into soul essences. However, as the spirit of the burned corpse that was slashed in half rose into the air, the little loach pendant remained silent. Even the little loach pendant was extremely disgusted by her dirty soul. It was better for it to simply be erased from the world. The fire was still burning. The light from it lit up the huge villa, which had been turned into a pile of debris. All that was left was a total mess. The fiery sorceress slowly exited Mo Fan's body. Mo Fan did not feel uncomfortable. He turned around and saw the fiery sorceress' pale face. She was already severely injured back at the Fire Pillar Hill, yet she had still followed them all the way here and experienced a tough battle. She was most likely expending her remaining life force. Now that the demoness was dead, the fiery sorceress was also approaching the end of her life. Mo Fan searched the demoness' corpse and quickly found the fire calamity fruit inside her space bracelet. "Save her quick," blurted out Ling. Mo Fan handed the fire calamity fruit to the fiery sorceress, who reached out her hands and held the fire calamity fruit cautiously. "Eat it quick," said Mo Fan to the fiery sorceress. The fire calamity fruit was the only way to save her life. Now that the demoness was dead, everything would be back to normal once the fiery sorceress ate the fire calamity fruit. However, the fiery sorceress shook her head. She held the fire calamity fruit and stared at it with a gentle and loving look. Everyone was utterly confused by the scene. The fire calamity fruit was priceless, yet it was not as precious as the fiery sorceress' life. Why would the fiery sorceress rather die instead of eating the fire calamity fruit? Mo Fan stared at the fiery sorceress in confusion. The fiery sorceress was still holding the fire calamity fruit, as if she were waiting for something. Mo Fan was about to say something when the fiery sorceress gently blew all her remaining energy at the fire calamity fruit. The breeze swept past him. Mo Fan could sense the fiery sorceress' remaining life force in it. He was so shocked that he totally forgot to stop her. Is the fiery sorceress out of her mind? Why didn't she just eat the fire calamity fruit to sustain her life? Why would she blow her last breath that contained her remaining life force on the fruit? It's only a fruit. She can still get one after the next fire calamity. What are you doing? Asked Mo Fan. The fiery sorceress did not answer. She gently held the fire calamity fruit in her hands. Suddenly, the sturdy shell of the fire calamity fruit cracked open. A part of it sprang up and fell to the ground. A tiny hand reached out from the shell. The creature inside the fruit seemed extremely eager to see the outside world, as its hand was grabbing out wildly, trying to smash the shell open. The little arm was around the thickness of Mo Fan's finger, yet it had the properties of fire, but was weak like candlelight. It felt like the air of a heavy breath alone was enough to extinguish it. Is this? Mo Fan stared at the fire calamity fruit that had been broken into pieces in astonishment. The little creature inside the fire calamity fruit had broken free from the fruit's layer of protection. Unlike most creatures that would be crying in a fairly weak state, the unique creature that was made of fire seemed to be quite energetic. After breaking out of the shell, it picked up the pieces of the fire calamity fruit and chewed on them like a squirrel. Tiny arms, small legs, and a small, round body. The tiny, elegant creature looked like a porcelain doll, and it sounded like a kitten who had just been fed. It's the flame bell, came Zinxia's calm voice. Mo Fan's eyes widened in disbelief. The flame bell that he was looking for desperately had been hiding inside the fire calamity fruit all along. That was not right. The fire calamity fruit was the flame bell itself. The unique creature was born from the fire calamity fruit. Mo Fan finally remembered that Chen Yi had mentioned how one would have to look for the fire calamity fruit immediately after the fire calamity, as it would disappear fairly quickly. It was obvious that the fire calamity fruit did not disappear, but was the end of the embryo stage for a creature that had hatched, and that creature was the flame bell. The fiery sorceress was not just protecting some priceless treasure, but an actual life, a youngling. The fire calamity only happens once after many years, and the starry tree only bears a fire calamity fruit after the fire calamity, which is the flame bell in her embryo stage. Jiang Feng was saved by an aged flame bell, who sacrificed a flame bell that was not born yet in exchange for her life. Chapter end. Please guys like, comment, share, and subscribe.